From dark path to dark path we wandered in darkness. Doesn't look like that. It's a sunny day. Minus 16 degrees. Like a winter day should be. What is there outside us? What is there we lack? And this morning I walked outdoors there was those stars in the sky. They always brings a good I don't know what they brings, but it's a good feels good to see stars. So open, so vast. So vast, this is so vast where we are. Literally. Mind stops when we start to analyze too much or worry too much, or when we start to use our small egocentric mind, my mind, we cannot reach stars. It stops somewhere there, 3 level maybe. And that's why this session is so valuable. Here we can learn. Here we can really learn to expand and come to this mind that is, we have a birthright, our original self, which has never left this flesh. Also in the morning, because it was dark and it was also cold. Minus 16 is, I could call it cold day. I recall this one poems that I so often repeat. And forgive me, but I'm going to repeat it now, at least part of it. And since there are no English equivalent, it's not translated into English, there is only my poor English version. And it is not about Zen, and it's not made by Zen monk or Zen practitioner, but nevertheless. And it is called Beginning. In the first winter night, the rabbit froze in its cage to stone. Behind the bars show a diffraction creating of the stars. Cold penetrates slowly into the body, which darkness cannot do anything about this light. Cat looks with her two great metal souls and continues her journey. Curled up around its heart, the rabbit dies. Morning was vast and empty, like the beginning. Like this. We little rabbits here. It's time to die, as it was said in one great movie. It is, in my mind, this poem pictures pretty well something that happens in Sesshin, for example. There is something that dies, maybe slowly. But if we just do and we stay with our practice, surely there is something that dies. There is this cat in this poem also. I never quite figured out what it is, what it does in this poem. If I think from the Zen practice point of view, but just now I see, of course, this cat is bodhisattva. Just walks by and those penetrating eyes sees how this rabbit dies. But the price for this dying is that then it is like a morning, vast and empty. If we want to fill this room, we could call life, this room, this dwelling place. If we want to fill this up with many interesting little things, ideas and some wars and conflicts and unnecessary seasons. Okay, I said yesterday that there are no unnecessary. Everything is necessary that is here. I stay with that statement anyway, but somehow I don't like to use this small ego self word so often. Maybe because there's some disagreement about what the word is and what is this small ego thing anyway. But I just can't come up with anything better now. Because maybe we don't all agree what is it, this small ego self. But at least in Zen context, it probably points something that makes us feel insecure, separated, somewhat alienated or distant from the very place where we are. We are not exactly at ease or at home where we are. There is something going on. We have some comments, we have some fears, and we have some, you know what I try to say. It's a very sensitive subject, actually, this ego self. It's very private. We don't want to show it. If someone asks, can you show your little ego self? No. Or we can, of course, tell that we have our shortcomings. We get angry, or we get frustrated, and we get this and that. Most of us, everybody, has that. Maybe there are some people in this planet, I don't know, who does not. And then we can argue, is it a bad or good thing to have this ego self, or should we really get rid of it, or is that even possible, or is that safe, or I think the question is a little bit put wrong, because it's really so that there is no such thing than small ego self. There are those symptoms, those how can I say, those signs that are hinting us that there is this crime scene somewhere. This crime called ego self happened somewhere here. We have traces. Those traces we have, but actually those traces only. Like somewhere in this Sasen Vasan, this Hakuin, Master Hakuin's chant, somewhere there is also no. Next time when we chant, I will find it. Then I think I will move on. As so often, I have one koan. Koan is from the point of view, if someone is you are sitting here on the tan, you have to say something, and then luckily we have koan collections. There we can pick up koan and use that as some kind of framework. In Lutheran Church in Finland, and I've been thinking, but I always forget it, but if I have sometimes time to work with that possibility, I will check if it has any sense, if it's any good for anything. But they in church, those priests, because they are of course preaching, and so I didn't know that, but now I know that this 1 year, like a church in church is split, let's say, like 4 different parts. Maybe there are more, but at least there are few, and each part has the kind of own subtitle, or kind of theme. So maybe it has something to do with season and biblical season and like so. And then under this category, they have already selected parts from the Bible, like precisely this, and then next chapter they have this. And it simply runs through this paper so that priests, they don't choose themselves what they are going to say. Because if you are working that day, boom, you have to talk about 6 words. And then it's of course that time of the year or something that it sort of fits, so to say. But there's something quite, I'm a little bit interested in, would it be possible somehow here also, that there is this kind of lucky wheel that it, boom, now I have to talk about this subject. I don't know. But this koan, very short, and this time it comes from the Soyu Roku, number 26. Now this is only the case. Yangshan. And in Mumonkan we have Yangshan, but Yangshan in Japanese, it's Japanized. This is Chinese name, this Yangshan, and for me is I'm more familiar with this Japanese name, which is Kyosan, or Hekikandok also, Kyosan. So Kyosan points to snow. Kyosan pointed to a snow lion and asked, "Is there anyone who can go beyond this color?" Later, Umon said, "I would have pushed it over for him at once." And still later, Secho, "He only knows how to push it over, not how to help it up." So now I actually see that I have chosen this subject according to the season. So there is snow, and I very kind of, I put my talent and I saw that there is snow and put things together, and that's why we have this subject, Yangshan points to snow. And this Kyosan is pointing to a snow lion. I don't think it is a real animal. Actually, I don't know. Even I have worked through this koan and I don't know what is even going on there. But snow lion, I was just thinking maybe it's a little bit like we are having this snow Buddha, or soon maybe looks even more snow Buddha. And I don't know if you notice it, but there is this pile of snow that it's looks a little bit like a Buddha is sitting there. Someone has worked with the snow, and then Kyosan is asking, is there anyone who can go beyond this color? Quite interesting question. Color, like a white color, like these papers, this really similar color than the snow. First this paper is empty and then those black dots appears there. And sometimes it's nice to look this paper and almost it feels like they are not really even words. They are not like they are like now we have some gravel on the road that it's not so slippery. So kind of black dots going there in certain pattern. So this text is a little bit like someone has spread some gravel there. And then there is this snow. White, isn't it so that white is, if we even can say that it is a color, but I'm not a physician, so, but anyway, it's reflecting all other like colors back, visible different wavelengths that different colors has. So all that visible different colors of light is reflected from this white. So how can we go beyond that? We so often ask here or it comes if you work with koans, for example, you will find that there are this kind of beyond thing comes now and then. Sometimes it's put together with two different aspects. Sometimes people are talking about emptiness and form. For example, there is emptiness and there is a form. And then we can also say they are same and they are different, they are same, depending on how you want to turn this subject around. But what about if it's beyond? This beyond is what we are examining here. We are not interested in exactly emptiness, or we are not exactly interested in form. We're not interested in getting stuck of either of, not getting stuck either of those two. So that's why we have to go beyond. But what is this going beyond? In which direction I have to turn and walk if I want to go beyond? If this very place where we sit is the pure lotus land. So where I have to leave, where I have to go if I want to go beyond? But so he is asking, and this koan doesn't tell that any of those monks or that were then around Kyosan answered anything. But later, Umon, another teacher, said that I would have pushed it over for him at once. First time when I read this, maybe it was some old wound that suddenly was reminding that I'm here. Suddenly this Umon's a little bit almost bold action or telling that I would just, push it over. Maybe there was a day when, maybe you've been in a building making this snow man or something else, and then this big guy comes and walks over your little snowman. Throw the carrot nose somewhere far, far away. We've been playing in the snow, and then this neighbor guy next building comes and maybe even smoking tobacco and comes and kicks your snowkuppe. For once and for all, it's dead then. And maybe you a little bit cry, or you stand there and you are really astonished, you don't know what to do. Should I cry or should I run after mom, or should I throw a stone to this guy? And maybe you did, and then this guy's mother will come to your home and tell that you are rebel and you should be punished. So that's how we create those shadows that we are facing here in Sesshin sometimes suddenly. When environment is quiet, when there is nothing that disturbs, suddenly this disturb is coming from inside. Many, many voices that we didn't listen back then. Now they want to be heard. So this is quite self-evident that this happens in Sesshin, that otherwise this would be so easy. We just would sit and see, oh yeah, this very body is actually damn Buddha. No doubts about that. We would walk freely here and do things like la la la, everybody happy. But I don't know who wrote this drama, decided to do it a bit different storyline here. So we are suffering, and that's the fact. We are suffering, and sometimes we decide to try, let's say, meditation. Maybe that will help. I have tried many other things. Now for some reason I feel drawn into meditation. And for some people it even works. But this is bigger than just meditation. Since this is a Zen Buddhist practice, so it's not just that we sit down and have some relaxation. Nothing wrong with that, of course, that's even very difficult. But what is interesting that together with this Zazen comes also whole Buddhism. And then it's up to us as Zen practitioners to see how we see those things. How much we put time reading sutras, or how we see different kind of ceremonies and that we do. And as it was said in this talk time a couple of days ago or something, I remember saying something like about practicing 30 years and then another 30 years. This very common 30 years thing. And since I haven't even done the first round yet, so I can't say anything about how it will be or how it works, but what I can say is that things will change when we do continue. Things will deepen, and many little things that we think are kind of artificial, not so important, suddenly they have some right place there in this picture. They are kind of living messages. They're kind of a hidden, nice, like maybe you have done this. I don't know. I did it once or twice, and it worked both times. I put it's a very long time ago and since last time, but I had let's say 100 markka, 100 marks. That was before euro. But 100 was big money then, and relatively speaking, big money. And I hide it in my pocket purposely. I put it in some other jacket that I don't use, like during the, let's say, winter. And I put it in my summer jackets, in the pocket. And of course I forgot it. And then when summer comes and I don't have money and I put my hand, oh, wow. And then maybe I remember, oh, actually I put this here as a surprise. So sometimes I feel that this practice is a little bit like that. I feel that those Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the past, or wherever, not in the past necessarily, but yes, let's say, if we talk about this, we can say in the past. They kind of put those little things there for us to suddenly find. And I feel sometimes that they are laughing when we are discovering some little details here and there. So that's how I feel anyway. I feel this is much bigger than just my little practice environment that I kind of personal taste and I choose if I like it this way or that way. But then again, I don't mean that it's some kind of carved, how you say, in stone, wrote in stone that it should be exactly like this, otherwise I am sinful. It's not at all like that. It's more like a play. There is, like I said, this is very serious kindergarten. There's a lot of that childlike, easygoing joyfulness. It doesn't show always like that, of course. Also, children can be quite cranky and sad, but their moods they are not carrying so much around that. When they drop something from their hands, they turn another direction and they poof, that was there. I don't even remember what was just in my hand a second ago. So suddenly Umon was doing something here and now I'm talking about money in my pocket. But anyway, Umon said I would have pushed it over for him at once. This is Umon's energy. This is Umon's answer for this complication that we are having here. What is it, this going beyond? Time is running. There are so many traps. The Zen is, in one sense, the Zen is just billions of traps everywhere. They are not dangers. They only kills you. Everywhere, traps. If we are not carefully, we don't see them. Every step we actually can go beyond. No unnecessary complications. We can practice that because we have it. We have that inborn freedom. Everything has it. Even humans has it. Even those creatures in hell having it. Everything has it. Everything is body of Buddha. There's nothing outside there. And then Teisho, I'm using these Japanese names, he only knows how to push it over, not how to help it up. And this is, again, much later. Pushing over. Again, so one line which I don't remember, but I will explain it. It's from the Mayakovsky, this famous poet. There's a long, he wrote long poems, but some 30 years ago I read one of them, and there was just two words about, and it somehow stick. I still remember the meaning. I mean, and it was something like it's so easy. It's easy to destroy life, but it's difficult to bring it alive. Bring it life. Bring it to life. It's easy to push it over, but how to help it up? How to help it up, that's exactly what we should do here. We have to push it down and we have to help it up. Otherwise it's just a halfway show. We go beyond by pushing this barrier down. And then when we are there, we can put it up again. Because it wasn't any barrier. So with these words, we have come to end of this talk. May all beings attain the Buddha way.